Story 1. I know it's been 9 hours and maybe a buried comment has already brought this one up, but I want to add the Artesian Build's chief executive officer destroying his company by re-rolling a winning giveaway number because the first winner wasn't popular enough. Story 2. Gaming live streamer accidentally burns own house down fire safety tips. It's particularly amazing because everything he tries to do just makes it worse. Story 3. Some guy tried inventing an alibi, saying he was on a live stream when he was murdering his girlfriend in real life. It didn't take long to realize it was pre-recorded, and he was arrested. The really disturbing part is he had planned everything down to the second he would be committing the stabbing. He had placed an advertisement for the movie No Time to Die as a twisted timestamp because that's when he knew what he would be doing when it appeared. Story 4. Tame in contrast with the other stuff mentioned here, but the dumbest I watched live was some travel streamer losing €200 within a minute to some 3-cup shuffle scam gang. Story 5. I watched a man accidentally shoot a gun in his house, and it exploded a container of G Fuel sitting next to him. He was very drunk. Thankfully, he didn't kill anyone. Story 6. Dude spent years building up a fan base while pretending to be disabled and needing a wheelchair. Then one day he just forgets himself and stands up to walk away. Story 7. There was the Japanese streamer who decided to hike up Mount Fuji in the winter while it was closed off with no experience and very little gear. I think he was only wearing a tracksuit if I recall correctly. He didn't make it. Story 8. That one stream where a girl thought she had switched to her OnlyFans stream and so she started dancing, stripping, and showing inappropriate content on stream and her moderator is like, "What are you doing? Are you okay?" Frantically in stream. I think she only got like a 3-day ban. Story 9. The girl was taunting and daring the other girl to jump in the lake, even though she couldn't swim, then running away as the girl actively began to drown. Dumb and cruel. Story 10. There was this one streamer who forgot to turn off their microphone after a stream and started ranting about their viewers. The chat was going wild while they had no idea everyone was listening. Story 11. That girl who streamed Counter-Strike. Global offensive and forgot to hide or turn her cheats off. When she realized, she started making up a story of how her friend played on her computer before and forgot to delete them. The whole thing just kept getting dumber and funnier. Story 12. Atriarch inadvertently showed on stream for a millisecond that he was viewing artificial intelligence deepfake pornography of his streaming colleagues while also being married. He actually came back from it by essentially funding a large campaign to take down many sites and the content related to the incident, and people kind of forgave him. Still really stupid though. Story 13. My ex-wife. She is a streamer who was taking multiple massive bong hits during a hotly contested divorce. My lawyer showed her lawyer a small compilation video and told her we have over 100 hours of this, along with her repeatedly violating the separation agreement. He asked if they still wanted to go in front of a judge. My ex-wife's lawyer walked away, consulted with her for less than 30 seconds, was clearly angry with her, and came back and said they are dropping the case. The kids are now with me all the time, and we could not be happier. Story 14. RuneScape girl who flashed her rear for RuneScape Gold, of which the other person then said, "Psyche," and rejected the trade. This is why escrow exists, people. Story 15. Andrew Tate's arrest for sex trafficking and abuse was a direct consequence of trying to pick a fight with Greta Thunberg. Romanian authorities already had an arrest warrant out for Tate in relation to charges related to sexual battery, slavery, and forcing women to appear on his webcam sites against their will. They had warrants in place to search his properties in Romania, but a quirk with Romanian law is that they had to ensure Tate was actually in the country before they could execute those warrants, which they couldn't do. Tate masking his online activity via virtual private networks due to legal issues in both the United Kingdom and America didn't help either. They knew when he was broadcasting, but not where. Then Tate decided to pick a fight with the environmental activist Thunberg out of the blue, solely on the logic that she's female and women need to know their place. In doing so, he boasted about the luxury cars he owned and how they all used petrol, seemingly to upset her, and he was being extremely wasteful with pizza boxes, making a point of telling his buddy on camera not to recycle them. Then Romanian authorities watching the live stream realized that the pizza boxes were from a pizza franchise that only operated within that specific country. They contacted the company running the pizza delivery group, showed them an address with a subpoena, and asked, "Did you deliver pizzas to this place within the last few hours?" With a quick affirmation, they had the proof they needed that Tate was hiding in the country, leading to a successful execution of the warrant and the arrest of him and his brother. Also, in a separate stream months later, one of his buddies got a message from Tate and started reading it aloud without thinking to his audience. The clip was shared with the Romanian police because the message from Tate expressly stated that he intended to flee the country to avoid further charges, resulting in Tate's second arrest. Story 16. Just watched a video yesterday of some streamers who dared a homeless woman to jump in a lake. Not really sure how it all went down. That was the title of the video. Then they walked away when she was asking for help. These individuals actually drove away, and later a fire truck was seen heading in the direction they were leaving from. Story 17. I'm gonna have to go with this guy burning his house down. It's just a comedy of errors, as he pretty much goes down the list of everything you shouldn't do with fire. Story 18. Not the dumbest, but still dumb as can be. I was hanging out on Discord with my friends when someone sent in a link. It was a stream from some party featuring a C-list streamer with 300 viewers. I don't remember what his name was. Edit. He was definitely a streamer from Slovakia or Czechia. I can remember that much. In the live stream, the guy used a bucket as a toilet, urinated off the balcony, and then proceeded to vomit on his friend and on the table. He got banned within minutes, and we managed to catch the clips just seconds after they were created. The entire thing lasted for about 10 minutes before he got banned and his channel was deleted. Story 19. I show Speed smacking his penis around, and it fell out of the hole in his pants, so around 30 million people have probably seen the clip of his private parts coming out. Story 20. Not the dumbest, but surely funny as hell. A group of French streamers were discovering New World when it released, and one of them paused his stream to go eat. He muted his stream but forgot to mute himself on Discord and then proceeded to have sex with his wife. The thing is, his wife started to loudly moan during their intercourse, and now a few thousand viewers could hear them through the other streamer's audio. Dude got trolled by everyone for months after that. Story 21. I can't remember who it was, but there was a streamer with a lot of viewers when he was asked a question. He repeated the question and said, "Let's look that up." He was sharing his screen with the viewers and pulled up Google. The second he pressed the T key, it autofilled to his past searches to trans femboys getting intimate. The look of horror on his face was hilarious. Story 22. I have yet to see a comment about the in-real-life streamer who was live when she hit someone with her car, and as she did Instacart deliveries with her dog peeing all over the bags. Story 23. A man is surprised after opening a $400 knife case in Counter-Strike. Global offensive. His reaction is insane. It's not sad or dangerous like a lot of other stuff here. I literally laughed for 5 minutes after rewatching this. If there was a chance that I would die from laughing too much, it would be to that video. Story 24. Why it's important to work out if the fireworks you have are okay to use as indoor fireworks. Surprisingly, nobody was badly hurt during this. Story 25. Rakita is taking a 1-hour Coke break, coming back disheveled and incoherent. He ends the stream by reading the same super chat 8 times and acting out on camera like he is Darkside Phil. The following day, he is arrested for a felony amount of cocaine, child endangerment, and being a drug user possessing firearms. Story 26. Guy bought a pair of fake Nikes, returned the fake Nikes in place of the real ones, got his money back, and then promoted where to get knockoff Nikes. Story 27. Aiden Ross showed inappropriate content to a group of 13-year-olds. A 32-year-old streamer is openly kissing 16-year-olds and being explicit about his relationships with them. Kick is an inappropriate platform. Story 28. Logan Paul or Jake Paul going into a forest in Japan infamous for suicide, live streaming himself finding the body of someone who had killed themselves. Story 29. One Formula 2 driver supported by Red Bull, with the prospect of making it to Formula 1, made a racist comment during one of his streams and lost his seat and chance to make it to Formula 1. I think he races in IndyCar now, so he got his second chance and was not entirely cancelled. Story 30. This guy was about to become a real celebrity with movie deals and endorsements. Then he decided it was cool to go to Japan to film dead people in their famous suicide forest and act like a typical bully to Asian people by taking advantage of everyone's nice manners and hospitality. Now, after almost a decade, he's finally crawled his way back to his former glory. Except this smudge is permanently on his record, and he will never become more than just a hype man at best. His drink could have been the next Gatorade, but instead, it's just hype water that no one wants to buy and no one is afraid to hate. Story 31. I watched a bunch of guys take turns mixing pancake batter in a tent once. It was the best thing I have ever seen live, and I highly recommend watching the video on demand. Story 32. 21 Savage cheating on Aiden Ross. I guess it wasn't the streamer but had him on as a guest playing cards. Might have been his friend. I like 21 Savage, but someone definitely messed with the cards. Story 33. There was the young man in Western Sydney, Australia, who was playing online and streaming. His wife called out, you could hear her on the stream, to come out for dinner, and he lost his temper, wandered off camera, berating her, and could be heard striking her as well. He worked for a major telecommunications company and had a high-paying IT role, but lost that job within 48 hours from memory. I guess being an abusive jerk wasn't aligned with company values, rightfully so too. Story 34. Not as serious as the others. Buddhism Hotline host Jonathan Hills got evicted from his apartment because he did a Learn to Swim live stream where he tried to fix a hole in his inflatable pool with a butter knife. He had a good sense of humor afterward to make a video out of it, but the stream was hilarious to watch live. Story 35. In Czechia, two girls were streaming from a car while speeding on the highway. They were talking to the chat when they crashed into some kind of wall. I think neither the driver nor the passenger made it. Famous last words. In 5 minutes at Tesco. Story 36. I believe there was some guy in Russia who left his girlfriend or wife out in the cold for a live stream as a so-called joke, and she froze to death. If anyone knows what I am talking about, then you know how messed up it was. Story 37. Saw a guy scratch off the code of a new Steam card and then show it to the camera. By the time he typed it in, someone else had already redeemed it. Story 38. On the night of December 2nd, 2020, Russian streamer Reflay streamed on his YouTube channel from a rented house in the Remensky urban district. At that time, Valentina and their mutual acquaintance Marina were with him. They were drinking, and at some point Stanislav and Valentina quarreled. According to the official investigation, during the quarrel, the guy struck numerous blows to the girl's head and body. Falling to the floor, the girl grabbed the wires with her hands, thus interrupting the live broadcast. The young man didn't like it, and once again, beating his girlfriend, he put her out of the house. After some time, the blogger resumed the broadcast, informing the audience about Valentina's unworthy behavior. In his opinion, the guy frankly shared the details of what happened outside the stream. He said, "Give a couple of bream," and was baptized 10 times by pouring cold water in order to bring Valentina to her senses, leaving her in the hallway in her underwear to ventilate. At the request of the subscribers, Reflay came out to check on the girl, but found her already unconscious. The blogger dragged her to the couch, began to sob, and asked the audience to call an ambulance. However, when the doctors arrived, it turned out that Valentina was already dead. All this time, he was sitting in front of the camera and drinking champagne while his dead friend was lying on the couch. He turned off the stream when the law enforcement officers arrived. It was horrible. I was on this stream. Story 39. Not really a streamer, but Kyle Larson, one of the greatest living race car drivers, almost ended his career by saying a racial slur during a live stream simulation race. Story 40. There was this one time a streamer was showing off their new personal computer build, and they straight up forgot they had their bank details written on a sticky note stuck to the monitor. Within seconds, chat was going nuts with, "Dude, cover that." But by then, it was too late. A few minutes later, you could literally see his expression change when he realized his account was getting drained live. He ended the stream so fast. Story 41. There was a streamer who faked being completely wheelchair-bound. He accidentally left his camera on and stood up out of the chair, revealing his scamming actions to the world. Story 42. Nick Rikita, who does lawyer streams, Was the number one for super chat money on YouTube after live streaming the Rittenhouse and Depp trials. He started using cocaine and drinking nonstop, got caught engaging in inappropriate behavior on stream, etc. There's literally a year's worth of this person melting down after being at the top. Stay away from drugs, kids. Story 43. One time, I was watching a streamer who was super into speedrunning. He was so focused on his run that he accidentally spilled his entire drink all over his keyboard. He panicked, tried to clean it up, and ended up short-circuiting the whole thing live. He just sat there staring at the camera like, well, that's one way to reset. It was both hilarious and tragic at the same time. At least he took it in stride and had a good laugh about it later.